This is a house, not a stage. This is a family gathered in faith, where hearts awaken, chains fall down. Love is a language, freedom the sound. Yeah, we come as sons, we come as daughters, drawn by the fire of the Father. No walls between heaven and earth, His presence speaking, calling us first. This is house talk, where His voice is heard. This is house talk, living from His word. Welcome home.
Good afternoon. Welcome to House Talk. We're honored to have you tonight, and we're going to sit, and Cam's going to pour his heart out tonight. He called this morning and said, man, I've got something burning on my heart that I'd like to share, so I'm excited to dig in. He's always intrigues me, man, about the revelation he gets, and it's last night at House 132 at our service, God just poured some fire, man, really fire out on him last night, sitting in a corner, and he released it on the house, and it was a beautiful word. I listened to it at the gym again today. It was that good. Yeah, I did. I did. It was a good word. And let's just get started. We're going to be talking about the heart. Yeah. A burning heart. We're going to maybe part 2 of that last night. So yeah, just go ahead and release it.
Yeah. So I'll just kind of reshare what we talked about last night. You know, it's a very familiar portion of Scripture, the road to Emmaus. And I just begin to, you know, just kind of feel just to encourage people in how, you know, the Father will meet you where you're at. And in this portion of Scripture, on the road to Emmaus, in this text, there's 2 disciples, one being Cleopas, and they're on this road. They're sad, they're gloomy, they're disappointed, because, you know, they believed that Jesus was the Messiah that would come and redeem Israel. You know, it says that in Luke 24 in the text. And they're on this walk, they're leaving Jerusalem, and that walk from Jerusalem to Emmaus is about 17 miles. And Jesus accompanies them on the walk. And I just begin to just share with people about how whatever state you're in life, Jesus will meet you where you're at on your walk. And whether you want to take the walk or not, He's still going to show up.
That's right.
And all He was after was to take the walk again. The walk that man forfeited in the beginning was all that He was ever after, because that walk represents union. All He was ever after was union with us. And the Emmaus actually means burning place. So the road to Emmaus could be translated on the road to a burning place. And as He's walking with them, it says something so profound that He says, or they begin to say that their hearts begin to burn with passion as He unveiled Himself in Scripture. They read the Scriptures and they could not see Jesus in it. But yet when Jesus began to walk them through the law of the prophets in the Old Testament, He began to point to Himself. He began to unveil Himself in the Scriptures to them. And then they go on to say, did our hearts not burn with holy passion as He unveiled Himself in the Scriptures to us? And at this point, they didn't even recognize it was Him. So I just began to just release over the house that, like, whatever state of life you're in, whatever it looks like, because, you know, disappointment, I said last night that storms can cause amnesia, make you forget about who He is, how good He's been, how He loves you. And disappointment can do that too. Doesn't mean you're in sin, but that disappointment can cause amnesia and cause you to forget who He is. And a lot of them knew what He had did as a prophet. And it says that He was a prophet in deed and in word before God and all of the people. He did miracles, He did signs, He did wonders. So they're all focused on what He could do, but they did not know who He is. And He shows up and He unveils Himself, unveils who He is. And I just begin to say that, you know, that is the road to a burning place. Yeah. That He'll meet you on the walk. He'll meet you in disappointment. He'll meet you in, you know, sad, doom, gloom, disappointment. You're expecting something and you didn't get it. They expected a Messiah that would come and redeem the kingship of Israel by overthrowing Rome and overthrowing and destroying the empire. And none of that happened. but yet he still showed up for the walk.
Mhm.
He still showed up. And what I want people to realize is he showed up in that state that they were in, and that was the road that led them to a burning place. Jesus is the road of Emmaus. Jesus is the revelation. Jesus is the burning place, and he comes for the walk. He came for the walk again. And as we do that, our hearts become ignited, and our heart becomes the burning place. So with all of that being said, I begin to think about, there was something that I had said last night, that their heart began to burn with something already that their eyes had not seen yet. Their heart knew what their eyes didn't see.
Yeah.
And I begin to think about how religion has tried to rob from us, because John 10 that everybody likes to quote, the thief that comes to steal, kill, and destroy, has nothing to do with the enemy. If you'll read that portion of scripture, it actually has to do with religion. And it talks about illegal shepherds that hop over the fence versus the true shepherds that decide to go through the door. And the thief that kills, steals, and destroys things within is the religious mindset it'll steal from you. It'll steal your thoughts. It'll steal your gaze, and it'll rob your heart of the treasure that's actually within your heart. And religion has told us for so long that the heart is wicked. The heart is deceitful. It's sick, which comes from the Hebrew text, the Masoretic text. Hold on, I'll actually read what the Masoretic says. So it's out of Jeremiah 17:9. The Masoretic text says this: the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately sick. Who can understand it? But in the Greek translation, out of the LXX Septuagint, which Paul quotes, I think 98 times in the New Testament. So that shows you how important the LXX Septuagint is. This is what the LXX Septuagint says: the heart is deep beyond all things, and it is human, and who could know it?
Wow.
You see the difference? Go ahead.
And let's just, for just a minute, when I was riding down the road and talking to you today, and we was talking about the heart, everybody says, well, what are they talking about heart? Because when we say heart, everybody thinks it's the thing in your chest.
Right.
And it's probably about 4 or 5 things.
Yeah.
It's not your physical heart.
Yeah.
That we're talking about. It's your mind. It's your spirit.
Yeah.
It's all in one. And I looked it up today. I can't remember what the 4 or 5 things was. We're not talking about your physical heart. We're talking about your whole being. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I'm a teacher. I like to go into depth with it, But there's a big difference, because think about this: if he can renew the mind, why can't he restore the heart? And if Jesus is as big of a deal as we know he is, or in the church world as we claim him to be, then why would we think he would stop? If deep cries out unto deep, Psalms 42:7, if deep cries out unto deep, and the gospel is not shallow, the gospel is deep. There is a depth to the gospel because Jesus is the gospel. Jesus isn't shallow.
That's right.
Jesus is deep. Why would we think for a moment he would allow our hearts to remain evil or deceitful or wicked? And I know it's because we've translated that in the Bible, so people automatically go to, well, it's in the Bible, we have to believe it.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to get people to realize is that, first of all, the Hebrew text says one thing, but then the Greek turns around and says another. The Hebrew scriptures with them trying to figure out God.
Yep.
Jesus is the figuring out of God.
That's right, man.
And then you go on and you read it in the LXX Septuagint, which is the first manuscript translated from in the Greek text, and we get it into English, and you see that it's a deep place. And if deep cries out to him to deep, I like to say it like this, is that I had a deep father wound, and Jesus met me with the deepness of the Abba revelation. It reached even deeper into me to pull out beloved identity. And there was deep wounding and deep despair in me that he reached deep into me and pulled the treasure out. And that's what he does with the heart. And just because I've always heard it that you can't trust your heart. Okay, well, if I've been renewed and regened, recreated, born again,
Yeah.
if I have been made alive, regened, then I can trust my heart.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, the heart can be misaligned, but anything can be misaligned. But when he comes in and he creates you brand new, and you begin to see the way Jesus sees, you begin to partake of Jesus and become like Jesus. That means you have the heart of him too.
That's right.
And his heart's not wicked,
No.
deceitful. You know what I mean? The heart is a beautiful treasure house.
Yeah.
And I'll just read some portions of scripture. We'll walk through some scriptures that I wrote down. I didn't get to print these out. I hate reading off my phone. I
do
like printing
too.
them out. You know what I mean? We'll start here. So we see we see the Hebrew text, which is the heart is wounded, disordered, misaligned, deceitful. And then the Greek is the heart is a deep place or unknowable. Who can know it? Right. One, Jesus doesn't avoid the heart. He actually goes straight to it. Mark 2:17, it is not the healthy who need a physician, but the sick. He's not talking about just mere behavior management here. He's talking about the inner condition of our humanity. If the heart is deep or even sick, as the Hebrew text suggests, he approaches it like a physician, not as a prosecutor, not as a condemner, and not as someone who views the heart as something irredeemable. 2, he exposes what's inside, but not to condemn. Matthew 15:8-19 talks about out of the heart, or can come from the heart, is evil thoughts. That sounds harsh at first, but notice what he's doing. He's saying that the issue is not external law breaking or external things, or just because you're sinful. He's saying it's in need of internal reformation and restoration. He's not redefining the heart as something that's hopeless. He's showing that healing has to go deeper than just surface level or just better behavior.
That's right. And if you go back to that, by his stripes we're healed.
Right.
That's more than just physical. That's just what I felt. Everybody wants to say by your stripes, and we do too. And I pray for somebody because I believe it's more than just,
right.
But it's more than just physical.
Absolutely. It's not just your
it's
external
spiritual
things. Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's your eyes, it's your mind,
it's everything.
It's everything.
I agree totally with that. That's good.
I think that it's these external things. When we think evil, we automatically think of the external things that people are doing. Well, they do spring from somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's revealing something internal. That's why I'm so jealous to not cut people off so quickly because of what they do.
That's right.
Because I know how powerful this is, man.
You're exactly right. I was in the barbershop today, and I was sitting there talking to a gentleman, and we just started talking. We was talking about football. His son played football for Sam Houston, and another kid just came to him, goes to Tech, might get drafted tonight. And he just started it's just weird how stuff happens, but he just started kind of talking about his past. And he says, I never had a father.
Yeah.
I said, man, this is lining up good here in just a minute.
Come on.
And he kept on. And he says, I was addicted to some drugs.
Yeah.
And then he said, I had a heart attack because he said he was, not able to work anymore. And he had a bad heart attack because of fentanyl.
Yeah.
And you know me, my radar.
Oh, yeah.
So I said, man, at the end, I just sit over there and I said, God, are you sure? Yeah. I said, can I just pray for you?
Yeah.
And he stood up. He said, brother, I would love it. So right in the middle of the barbershop, man, we just prayed for that.
Okay.
I just didn't pray for a heart to be healed.
Yeah.
His physical heart. I prayed for his whole body to be healed.
Yeah.
And for him, for Abba, Daddy God, to come down and be his father and let him experience a father that truly loved him, that wouldn't abandon him and, make him feel like an orphan. Yeah. And as soon as I got done, there's a barber man right beside me. He said, bro, what about me? Will you come pray for me? It was wild. Go ahead, man.
Awesome.
There's a heart. We're talking about heart and how it all led, but it all started with me this morning praying for a guy's heart.
Yeah.
We're
so, I'll get back to that in a minute. I just feel something on this is we're so quick to focus on the external.
Mm-hmm.
And I really believe, and I don't say this like judgingly or condemningly, it's because we have so long for so long believed in a shallow, uh, just just very shallow version of Jesus and the gospel and what we've made Christianity. And I think it's because if deep cries out unto deep, then the opposite is also true, that shallow can only cry out to shallow.
And I believe deep is crying out to deep all over the world today.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people crying out for something.
Yes, that's what I meant.
And that's
by
what you said. We
there
need
was
to.
a deep wounded,
Yes.
a deep wounded culture that doesn't need a shallow gospel.
That's right.
They need the deepness and the depths of Abba's love to reach deep into their story and pull them out. Because I'm telling you, there is people that that they're in deep despair. That if we just give them shallow Christianity, that's not enough to pull
It's
them out.
not just saying a prayer.
Yeah,
It come to the altar and say a prayer, and then how many numbers did you get saved tonight? Because 45 people come to the altar and raise their hand, but did they really meet the burning God?
Yeah,
the burning Abba.
And there is a big difference.
Yes, they are.
Because this is something that it really truly comes alive on the inside of you. That it's an internal flame. I've really felt it over as I was praying over that kid last night. That so many people chase so many external things to light a fire when it's something Jesus naturally wants to place in you internally.
You're exactly right.
And loves fire.
Loves
fire, man. So like when you read scripture, anytime you see fire, our minds have to immediately go to love.
Liquid love.
Yes.
Pour it out.
Liquid burning love.
That's it, man.
But so love is fire and fire is love.
That's right.
You can't separate the two because there's 4 nouns that describe who God is in the Bible. Only 4. Love, light, fire, spirit. That's it.
Wow.
Those are the 4 nouns that describe who God is. So love, light, and fire are all synergetically the same thing. So, because you got to think they didn't have electricity back then. So
That's
when
right.
they say light, they mean like these lights staring at us. They didn't have that. They mean fire.
Yeah.
Man. A marvelous light is love's fire. So love is light, light is love is fire, fire is love. It's all synergetically and symphonically working together.
And when me and you talk, I start seeing visions, and I just saw South Georgia right now, they're on fire.
Yeah.
And to see the flames coming up from the ground down there, it was like enormous.
Yeah.
And that's what when you was talking about that, I could see that picture of I guess I seen it on the Facebook or TikTok or something, but the flame was so violent. We go violent, but I won't get on that. We done that one time, but it was so violent and so big. Just think that love that God is, how much bigger he is than that big fire that's out of control down there.
Yeah.
That's him. That's his love inside of that fire, and he's out of control, burning for sons and daughters.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Well, see, on my way over here, actually, it's wild that you brought up the wildfire. Is I had the thought that love's fire does something in you subtly before it ever does something wildly.
Yeah.
And it is a wild, burning love for you, but it does something in you because think about a campfire. It's a slow burn. And it's not out of control. It's contained. But an ember here and an ember there can lead to something.
Oh, yeah.
So now take that metaphorically into a room like here, and last night I really wanted us to realize we're the dwelling place, but we're also the burning place.
Yes, we are.
We are the dwelling of God that becomes the burning place. And what I wanted people to realize is that you might think you know Jesus because of Scripture. You might think that, you already know him. You might think you've already seen him. Just continue to take the walk with him. Continue to let Jesus unveil himself to you, and he'll take you deeper than what Christianity can. He'll take you deeper than what you can take you. Let Jesus unveil himself, because then that's how we see the Father. And then that's how we see people correctly. So each of us are becoming an individual burning place.
That's right.
And we're an ember here and an ember there and an ember here and an ember there until next thing you know, we have a wild out of control. And then it moves to the city, and then it moves to the region.
That's right.
And then, me and Joe used to say that we'll burn until we have to take our hands off of it. And there's a point in time where, like when it's an unfortunate thing that's going on, but that they'll come in and they'll try to put it out, and they'll realize that they can't, and they'll say, "We'll just have to take our hands off of it for now."
That's right.
Until we get more backup, more resources, and stuff like that. And I just begin to think about how, obviously we know man's hand can't be on things, but think about how beautiful it is that in man's best attempts, man can't light the fire.
That's right.
And we've tried.
We've tried.
We've exhausted every effort, but there comes a point in time where man has to take their hand off of it to just let it burn. And I go back to a story. I don't even think I've ever shared this with you. We were having a cookout at our house one day, and I had some old charcoal, old charcoal in my grill. I tried to light it. Tried and I tried and I tried and I tried and I tried because I didn't have any new charcoal. And it was old charcoal just sitting in the grill. And so I ended up taking all the old out and I put them in a trash can. And like I put lighter fluid on them. They would not light even with lighter fluid on it. Okay. I put it in the trash can. I went and got new charcoal. I go outside, I light it. I come back inside. I'm washing my hands. I look out the window and the trash can's on fire. And the wind was blowing.
Wow.
And I heard Holy Spirit, I'm talking about as clear
Come
as
on.
day, say, son, when you take your hands off of it and you just let my wind blow, there's no telling where it could go.
That's right.
And it will be out of control. And it was just such a beautiful, that was back in like 2023. And it was a beautiful, because I've never really been, maybe in my early days of ministry, I was really about self-effort. But, when I come into rest, it's, I know that self-effort and performance and production, none of that is equivalent to yielding. Yielding
right.
to union will naturally produce what I could never do. And when my hands were off of the charcoal and the wind blew is when it lit.
Wow.
And just think about that with ministry. Our hands being off of it and we're just led by the wind.
That's right, man.
And where the wind will take us.
That's
So,
right.
This is a beautiful picture.
It's like when you're camping out and you give a big fire in the morning, it don't look like that fire is going.
Yeah.
Because it's gone.
Till the wind blow.
But you know what? The wind blows and stirs it up.
Yeah.
There it goes again.
Start back up.
That's right.
Oh man, where was we at? Let's see. I think we had talked about, so out of the heart come or can come evil thoughts. He's showing that healing has to go deeper than just surface level or just better behavior. This is why the gospel isn't meant to be viewed as shallow, because when it's shallow is when it becomes casual, common, and it carries with it the inability to effectively reach people deeply and change them internally. There are people with deep wounds that don't want to be better than they used to be. For me, man, halfway whole isn't enough.
No.
They need real, scandalous, make me fully alive or I'd rather just die kind of breakthrough. And this is what the undiluted deep depths of the Father's love and true gospel does. So out of that flow, out of the flow of their heart can come evil thoughts and stuff. But that's just because they need us to reach reach past all of those things to pull out something even more beautiful out.
That's right, because we was one of them at one time. I mean,
Yeah, man. So what's number 3? What's the promise? The promise is a new heart, and it's not just a corrected one, because correction is meant to be done through perfect love, kindness, and compassion alone, never condemnation. It's correcting the way someone sees. So for me, how do I correct somebody? I correct their lens.
Yeah.
I mentioned it last night, and that's no condemnation to any preacher, anybody else. This is where I live my life.
Yeah.
As I said, I did make the comment of like, talking about sin and preaching about sin. That's just that's so shallow to me. So how do I fix your sin issue? I just fix your lens, man. That's
right.
it. If I give you a big enough Jesus, it'll fix those big enough issues that you think you have.
Yeah.
And it does it 100% of the time.
Exactly.
I really believe that. It's correcting the way someone sees something by giving them a correct lens of who God as Abba truly is and who they truly are. This is how I correct people. Correction is never condemning someone's lifestyle. It's actually giving you a window into a better lifestyle and a better life illustrated through the eyes of a burning love that says, I don't condemn you. I've never condemned you. And even in the state you're in now, my heart still burns for you and I have a burning love for you. You talk about something that'll heal the heart. That's what will heal it. and you talk about a renewed heart, that's how you see that. So this is where Jesus fulfills what was already promised in Ezekiel 36:28, where it says, I will give you a new heart and I'll put a new spirit within you. Jesus doesn't come to point out the deceitful parts. He comes to replace stone, hardened hearts with something alive, something that makes life full and more abundant like he promised. He gives you something that can beat again with a burning passion of fiery love. This makes you come alive, and this fixes everything internally. This makes the heart new so that you can burn as the newly created creation that he's made you to be. For how does he actually restore it? Let's just, just some examples of how he deals with people. Take the woman caught in the act of adultery. He stoops down to her level. There's no condemnation, and that we just see absolute restoration. He makes everybody drop their stones, walk away. The stone himself, the cornerstone, kneels down, makes everybody else drop their stones, looks her in her eyes with burning, fiery love and not a shred of condemnation.
That's right.
And there's only restoration there. The bleeding woman, she wasn't just healed physically. He calls her daughter. So we see identity brought into not just a physical state of a heart healing, but an internal state by calling her daughter. Peter, after his failure, I'll never deny you. And then we see the threefold restoration of, do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me? And you know what he asked him? I love how the Passion Translation says it. He says, do you burn with love for me?
Come on.
Do you, because Peter claimed that he did, but there was a piece missing, the burning love.
Yeah.
And he saw it in the eyes when he denied him.
That's good.
Oh, man. Do you love me? Do you burn with love for me? And this isn't something that you say that you do first. This is something you see in him first.
Yeah.
He unveils his burning love because he first loved. So when we say, yeah, I love you, but there's so many people that say, yeah, I love you. I love Jesus. But their heart doesn't burn for the ones that says, Peter, now go do this for me.
That's
go
right.
feed my lambs. And you can't do that until you first understand my burning love for you, and until you reciprocate that burning love back for me. And then you'll go feed my lambs. You'll go feed my sheep. You'll go take care of my people like I said and prophesied over you that you would do. So we see that Peter, after failure, he was not rejected, but he was absolutely restored by way of a burning pair of eyes. He consistently does something deeper than just forgiveness. He rebuilds identity and he rebuilds trust inside of a person, by showing them who the Father actually is and how God himself handles the condition of the fragile human heart. How does he handle it with care? By showing them how and what the Father is truly like. Number 5, this is the core of it all. Jesus says in the Gospel of Matthew 11:29, learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart. So if he's the exact express image of the Father, then he's showing us the gentle, compassionate, kind, and lowly of heart that of the Father to the culture in need of a correction and seeing God and healing deep, and who need healing deep within their hearts, which for me is huge. He doesn't just heal hearts or correct them. He reveals what the true heart of God is like, and Abba, a Papa, and then turns around and says, you can have this heart too. So not only does he exposes the lie of how we see God, he gives us how we should see God. And then we have to realize that when we see him and when we know him, this is a cardionosis, which is a heart knowing. When you know him like that, now you begin to have permission to act as if you are that heart in the earth. And there's plenty of, examples of that in scripture, but a heart knowing leads you to being like his heart. And so we can say that the heart is deceitful, or we can say that, no, it's been so healed that now that I know his heart, I have his very heart.
That's right.
Now I can be that heart to the culture. Now I can be that heart because I know the burning heart of a loving Father. So restoration isn't just him removing deceitfulness or even just fixing wickedness. It's actually replacing fear with love, replacing distortion and delusion of God with truth, and bringing the heart back to life in relationship and union with the Father. So bringing it back to the original verse that we talked about, Jeremiah 17:9, the Greek is deep and hard to know. Jesus reveals it, and he enters into that. The Hebrew is wounded, sick, or twisted. Jesus heals it, and then he reforms it, and then turns around and gives us his heart. So the answer isn't your heart is bad, try harder. It's your heart is a deep place. Who can know it? Jesus. Jesus is the only one who actually knows how to reach the very bottom of it, or he went to the very bottom of it.
Yeah.
The very bottom of our deceitful, just fragile, finite, sick, twisted, whatever you want to say. He went to the very bottom of it to restore it all. I like to say this: there was a deep wound in me that he reached deep into. There was let me say it like this. There was a deep wound in me that he reached into the deepness of those very wounds and pulled out the treasure within me. The deepness of my orphanhood, he reached even deeper in me to show his fatherhood and pulled out the revelation of Abba and beloved identity within me. The depth of my human soul crying out to the depth and deepness of God, in which I begin to see the Abba revelation that he was so longing to show me first. My heart burned with what my eyes had not yet ever seen, and that's how I knew it was right. My heart burned first before my eyes could see it.
Yeah.
It was not shallow interaction, but something profound, real, and raw. It was tangible. It was life-changing. It was heart-changing. The heart transformation he allowed me to have was unlike anything I've ever experienced before, and that's how I know it's of him and why I'm not scared to be in error or what other people think of me because it's different or contrary to what we've always heard. There was a deep longing and a deep despair internally in me that was fixed with a deep, burning revelation rooted in something so profound that it changed my life, my heart, and my mind. And in that is how I come out of having, the heart that I couldn't trust. Because back in the day, I had a lot of like insecurity issues. I had a lot of, just the wounds still bleeding and trying to bandage them up, so to speak. And, it was like you never really know what you're going to get with me. And, but when I come into the Abba revelation, there was just such a healing there. That healing began to take root, take place, and just this internal transformation and this process began to take place that I can't look at humanity as a whole and say, your heart is irredeemable because we religion, like I said earlier, will rob us and say, no, you can't trust the heart. And I'm talking about, this is people that they're not talking about just unbelievers. They're talking about themselves. I'm like, man, if you claim to be a believer and you're saying you can't trust your heart, I'm just like, man, you might be missing something. And you might not realize what Jesus really truly wants to do in you. So the Greek word for salvation is the word sozos, sozost. And it's our minds, when we think of salvation, we immediately go to heaven or hell.
Yeah.
I'm saved from hell for heaven. And that's very shallow because in their culture, they weren't worried about that. They were in salvation to them meant, save us from Rome.
Yeah.
But and in the Old Testament, salvation was save us from our enemies. So salvation is the Greek word sozos, which means complete wholeness. Mind, will, heart, soul, body.
There we go. That's the ones we was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
You got to it. You did good.
Complete wholeness.
Yep.
Nothing missing, nothing lacking, nothing broken. What was once fractured is now made whole. So Isaiah 61, let me read this real quick. Isaiah 61 says, the mighty spirit of Lord Yahweh is wrapped around me because Yahweh has anointed me as a messenger to preach good news to the poor. He has sent me to heal the wounds of the brokenhearted, to tell captives you are free, and to tell prisoners be free from your darkness. So if he sent Jesus to heal the wounds of the brokenhearted, and we quote the verse that he's near to the brokenhearted, well, my question is, if he's anointed him to heal those wounds, and if he's near those wounds, do you think it's legal to say you'll remain as is? Because for me, it's a kind of a cop-out to say, that we can't be made whole, that we're always having to stay broken. And I've even heard
that's preached, man.
Yeah. I've heard someone say that they stay broken so that Jesus will stay near. And I'm like,
man, And you know, I'm gonna get off track just a little bit with Theo Vaughn.
Yeah. Oh man.
I've been watching
Dude,
this cat, dude, and I'm wrecked.
I am
And, you know, every
too.
time I see somebody like Jelly Roll, I get wrecked.
Yeah.
And I get excited.
Yeah.
I get excited because he said, you know, it was about the pool at Bethesda
Yeah.
where Jesus went and saw the man that was lame. He says, do you want to be healed?
Right.
And Theo Vaughn says, man,
I don't know if I want to be.
God.
It
Bro,
wrecks
but
me,
he's
dude.
honest though.
Yeah.
Because he's been taught. No, I'm in Romans again.
Me too.
And when I
Just started it yesterday.
When I get to Romans 6,
yeah.
it totally frees any idea about sin that I ever had.
Yeah.
It always does.
Yeah.
But you go to Romans 7, and then, you know, not me, but or you, but most people they'll see that the end of 7.
Yeah.
But they'll never go to 8.
Yeah.
Because they think the Bible, when Paul wrote it, he's put 7, 8, 9, whatever.
Right.
He did not.
Yeah,
It's not in chapters, it's in letters.
Yeah.
You know, and at the end of that, where Paul says, I want to do good, but I can't, I keep doing the same. But you got to go to Romans 8.
Well,
the end of Romans 7.
He was describing himself when he was an expert at the law.
Exactly.
That was a former lifestyle until he come into the revelation of, oh, I'm in Christ Jesus now. There's no condemnation.
That's right.
Because the law condemned, and it made sin alive. So what he was saying in chapter 7 was, he used I, and we think of it universally like it applies to everybody.
Well, that's how they preach it.
And that's how we also, when David said that about in sin I was conceived.
Yeah.
We take that, and people can say that they don't believe in universalism, but they do technically. If they say that everyone's born in sin, then that's universal. That's universal language.
That's everybody.
So they're thinking that because David was speaking from his personal story, his personal life, that in sin I was conceived. And, you know, we could go down a long rabbit trail of that, but he believed that his mother had an affair.
Yeah.
And so he was saying that he was born in sin because it was an affair, in adultery. And he wasn't speaking on humanity as a whole. He was speaking from a personal I.
It's like when Cam says I, it's your experience.
Exactly.
When I say I, it's my experience.
Exactly.
It don't mean that everybody's having that same experience.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's what Paul was doing in Romans 7. You know, a lot of people don't know this, but he sat under the most prominent Pharisaical leader in Gamaliel. They're saying that, you know, there might not have been anybody smarter and more of an expert in the law than him besides Paul, who trained under Gamaliel. And he said that Paul even brags about himself. I think it's in Galatians.
I know what you're talking about.
Where he brags about himself that there was no one smarter than him, because I think he even surpassed Gamaliel.
Jesus come for the right one, didn't he?
You daggum right.
He's still coming too. I mean,
man.
To break all that off, every lie that you've been told about the Father.
Yep.
Because that's who Jesus is.
Yeah.
To reveal who Papa really is.
Absolutely. And, you know, Paul wasn't, he wasn't applying this to the human condition. Can it apply? Absolutely. But he wasn't saying that every one of you, you know, when we read the New Testament now, every one of you need to think of yourself this way. No, he's saying you might think of yourself this way here, but wait until you become a burning place.
That's right.
Let me usher you into, because if you go into Romans 8, when it talks about that, he awakens the fatherhood revelation in your innermost being. Guess what that word is? Heart.
Heart.
So when that becomes fully alive in you, then you're no longer the Romans 7 man. You're now the Romans 8 beloved son.
That's right.
And you can be the Romans 7 sinner saved by grace. You know, you want to do good. That all of that is because of double-mindedness, who is a man unstable in all of his ways. As notorious of an expert in the law that Paul was, we clearly see that he still struggled. We see that he killed followers of the way, and we see that he obviously, and when he breaks it down in Romans 7, we see the internal struggle.
Yeah, we do.
External, he looked great, looked like the prominent man, the man of the hour.
That's right.
And
he had a suit on, his ties, hair done. Yeah. But
and
deep down inside, like Theo Vaughn.
Yeah.
You think looking at this guy, he's got it all together. But deep down inside, man,
there's something crying out.
There's a burning.
Yeah,
They're
man.
just wanting to be lit.
on,
Yeah,
come on.
come on, man.
And that's what I was getting at last night with saying prophetically that we're on a road to a burning place. Is that, you know, Calhoun is in need of a deep revelation of an unveiled Jesus.
Yeah.
And that there's people, not saying that people don't love Jesus, not saying that churches aren't doing what they feel like they're called to do. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just wanting to give something even deeper to
Yeah.
the culture.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all.
There's nothing wrong with that. I've never heard that. That's good.
Yeah.
That's a good thing, you know? There's nothing
absolutely.
wrong with that, man.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's still, there's a lot of people that love Jesus, a lot of great people.
Yeah.
And I would, you know, it's like Paul said, if you preach Jesus, I rejoice.
Yeah.
But let me give you something deeper.
Absolutely.
I mean, because Paul, this man, I mean, if he was here today, if Jesus was here today, nobody would believe it'd be Jesus.
No.
You know, they still wouldn't.
The same.
They'd elect a Republican or a Democrat before they would elect Jesus. Yeah.
And I've thought about that a lot. You know, everybody wants to, you know, talk about the Barabbas narrative. Excuse me. Everybody wants to talk about the Barabbas, about how everybody chose the world over Jesus, and it's just that is not at all. What they were doing was they were choosing religion and politics over Jesus. The religion, not the world, the very ones who claim to know God were the ones shouting, "Give us Barabbas." And what's beautiful is, do you know what Barabbas actually means? Sons of Abba. So they were shouting, "Give us sons of Abba." Their hearts were crying out for something that they didn't know that they were crying out for.
Wow.
Make me a son of Abba. Give me that. But when they
actually, they got what they wanted.
they got exactly what they
Exactly.
wanted. Exactly what they wanted.
Yep.
And it's such a beautiful picture that, you know, internally they're actually crying out for the very thing that he was giving them.
Yeah. The thing they was crying out for is what I want to say they got.
Yes. Yeah.
Now they can become a son and a daughter. I mean, you know,
Exactly.
really.
Yeah.
And all that other stuff that they was tied to
Yep.
went away.
Yeah. And what's beautiful is that Barabbas was a led a rebellion, and that what they say, give us that, because internally they were rebellious. And it's just such a beautiful picture when you think about it like that. Is, you know, their hearts were misaligned, and externally they were showing that. Internally there was something crying out, give us sonship. Externally they were saying, give us Barabbas, give us the rebellion, give us the wickedness, give us this and give us that. Don't give us Jesus. We don't want that. He's a heretic. He's a blasphemer.
He's demonized.
He's demonized.
Yeah.
Just all these insults. And they're actually crying out for the very thing that he was going to give them internally, sonship. And it's just such a beautiful picture. It's scandalous, man.
And, you know, you might be saying, I don't get it. Well, you know, it's okay. John the
You're still on
Baptist
the road
didn't
to a
get
burning
it.
place.
John the Baptist and the disciples didn't get it right. I mean, if they did, he wouldn't have denied him 3 times.
Yeah.
The one thing, I know one thing stood out to me last night that I like that. When the 11.
The leaven of the 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 11 become the leaven that, yeah.
That would permeate the culture.
I like that, man. That was good.
Yeah. And oh man, this is heavy for me personally. Even I was sharing it at work with Bryce the other day, and he was just like, oh, wow, I've never thought about it like that. Jesus was alive for 33 and a half years, 3.5 years of ministry. That's it.
That's all.
And he spent all of his time with 12 people. He would hang out all day for one woman at a well. Well, Jesus, you only got 3.5 years. He's going alone to pray, to be with his Father. He takes James, Peter, John alone a lot. Jesus shouldn't need to be doing more. You only got 3.5 years. But he's not in a hurry, because he knows that the leaven of the 11 will be what changes and flips the known world upside down with an unknown revelation.
Even his brothers told him.
Even his
you need to go you need to go.
Yeah.
So you can become famous or something. It was something like that. There's I don't remember. It was in John. I just read John.
And what's beautiful to me is that Jesus wasn't in a hurry to get anybody saved like we are. He wasn't in a hurry to tell them about the rapture. because he said in John 17 that they're no longer of this world, but they're going to stay in this world. And he wasn't in a hurry to convict anybody, but he was in a hurry to convince them. And it was a slow process. And then I mentioned this last night of John 14, 15, and 16 and 17. By John 16, they finally say, now we get it.
That's it.
And then Jesus says, now I can go to the cross.
That's right.
Now was
He couldn't go until
he
then.
He could not go. And they still didn't get it then. But he spent all of his
It's like
time.
us. We think we get it. We think we've got it. And then, no, you didn't have it all. I'm going to give you some more.
Exactly.
You know?
And that's how I live my life. It's never ending.
That's right.
That way. And it's just such a beautiful picture that Jesus spent 3.5 years never being rushed, never being in a hurry, isolating himself with his 12, ultimately with his 11, and spending all of his time just pouring out, unveiling himself until finally the time comes when he says, when you've seen me, you've seen the Father. So if he wasn't in a hurry to do anything but show them the Father, what does that say about us?
No, man,
we shouldn't be.
We got to have a launch. We got to have this plan.
Yeah.
We got to have that. What was Jesus' launch? He turned water into wine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He threw a party.
That's right. He threw a party. He didn't have all this stuff. He didn't, but the church today, we don't have much time.
Right.
He's coming back. We don't have much time. We don't have much time. How long have we said that?
A long time.
If we just chilled, got along with him,
and
worried about what we do have, not even worry about it, but just live life with what we have, then it would change the world.
Absolutely. And that's what Jesus was doing was, I keep saying it, but I only got 3.5 years, Jesus. Why are you only he left crowds. What would we do today? We're not leaving crowds. We're going to the crowds.
You dang right.
I want the bigger crowds. I want the bigger ministry. I want a bigger platform. I need thousands and millions of people saved. I got to get the world saved until heaven's full. And it's, Jesus, you only got 3.5 years. You're not in a hurry. You never had anybody repeat a prayer. You asked just a handful to follow you. You even turned around at one point and said, all of you can leave me too. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. But it's what he was doing was he knew internally what he was doing wasn't something fickle. It wasn't something shallow. It wasn't something whimsical. It was going to be the leaven of the 11 that would begin to cause the planet to be repopulated with people who look just like Jesus, who represent Jesus in the same manner in which Jesus represented Abba. And now by giving them his heart, they would carry his heart, and they would be the leaven of the 11 that would flip the known world upside down with an unknown revelation. And then you see it goes from 11 to 70 to 120 to 500 to 3,000 to 5,000. Look at he poured into 11 people and just followed the trajectory of the numbers that increased because only 11 people got it.
That's right.
And who really didn't understand it at first. But he said, now, all I need you to know now, that I'm the sent one of the Father. And when you've seen me, you've seen who Abba is. And by this, the world will know that you're my followers or my disciples. And then he goes on to say that I've never called you servants. I've called you my intimate friends. And that word intimate friends is those who I've cared for and loved from like you were from my very womb. So he has this womb-like love for us. So that's that womb, heart, and compassion all come from the same words. So when it talks about how he has compassion for us, or when he called them here his intimate friends, he's saying that I have a womb-like love for you. In the deepest depths of my bowels, you're attached to me like an embryo's attached to a pregnant woman. That's how deeply I care for you. That's what he was saying would affect the entire cosmos.
Yep.
That's what he gave them. Now, because what did he say? He said, now go love like I've loved you. Go do to others what I have done for you. That's what he was infecting the leaven of and permeating those 11 disciples with. And then out of there, I believe that John the Beloved got it a lot more, just by way of, because of his writings. And we see through the lineage of John the Beloved, we get Polycarp, we get Irenaeus, and we get Athanasius.
Mhm.
And so we see the world flipped upside down in the book of Acts. But even after the Bible concludes, there's so much more that takes place. And it goes back, and you can point it back to the 11 of the 11
That's
that
right.
Jesus spent 3.5 years pouring in the burning heart of the Father to. And it blows my mind that the first 30 years we have no record of him hardly doing anything.
No, I mean, the only thing that I know that he did, he
12 go to the
when Mary
temple.
walked into Elizabeth's house, you know,
Yeah, that.
yeah, because it was
But he was in the womb.
it was in the
Yeah.
womb. Yeah,
And at age 12, he was in the temple, and then we have no record of him doing anything until
Exactly.
30, which is just that is so scandalous.
and
to
you know,
me,
at
man.
that time, that was the lifespan.
Yeah.
About 30 years.
30 to 33 for a
Yeah.
male. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And at 30, 30
We can go
is-
on something from there too,
Oh, I
bro.
know.
It don't matter how old you are in this.
It don't.
Don't get excited.
Yeah.
You might be 75 and you say, well, I got to do more. Like, I ain't got much time left.
Yeah.
Hey, Jesus was at the end of his lifespan,
Mm-hmm.
which he was God. He could live as long as he wanted to. I mean,
Yeah.
really. But I mean, he knew this is a lifespan.
Right.
And I'm at my end. And I'm
and I really wonder if, at 33 and a half is when John 16 talks about is that was the moment when they finally understood. And I'm wondering, I really do wonder, all right, now's the time I can go. So who's to say that if they didn't get that revelation for another 5 years, that he would have died at 35?
That's
You know what I
good.
mean?
Yeah.
So it's just,
And-
he was so, I don't want to say desperate, but just so desiring to just make their hearts come alive in the same manner in which Jesus's heart burned for union with his Father and with the Spirit.
Yeah.
That's what we've been invited into. That's the burning
And
place.
so many people didn't get it.
Oh, yeah.
And so, if you're preaching this message out there and you're going to say, well, my house emptied, hey, ours did too.
Yeah, it did.
And, it started with grace. And from there on, I mean, and it's okay. Jesus, I mean, like you said, 3,000 left.
Yeah.
And when he changed the language, when he give them something that they've been taught all their life they can't do, eat flesh and drink blood, Jesus is inviting them into that.
Yeah.
The law said, what do we say? The Bible says.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
I'm not going to get on that today because, but I mean, that's what we do. We put it in these books, and I love it. I do because I read it every day. But Jesus come on the scene, and he said language in there that wasn't what they was used to hearing.
I love saying this is that when he said, when you've seen me, you've seen the Father. They didn't have a verse to go find it back.
Heck no, they didn't.
There was no verse to go and look up, be like, well, Jesus, it lines up. It don't line up with this.
That's right.
It don't line up here. And, when he even begins to challenge them by saying, you've heard it said like this, but I say unto you, he is changing what it says to make himself, to reveal himself more fully and to say, this is how this is
Reveal.
He even calls it, he never calls it God's law, calls it Moses' law. Man wanted a law. Israel wanted a king. God acquiesced.
They want a
gave them
judge.
the law. They
give you a judge.
Yeah. And it's humanity's best attempt to get to God.
Yeah.
Until God sent his best to humanity, Jesus. And it's just,
the law, everybody got so bad, hard on the law, but the law was good, the Bible says.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't for the law, they wouldn't have knew what sin was.
Right.
And it's just like a judge. He didn't come as an angry judge with a gavel.
Right.
I mean, he came, if you look back over every story, everything they cried out for, it was the goodness of God.
Yeah.
It was. And they just couldn't get it. And we still, today, so many people just don't get it. We just don't get it. And he's wanting to love you, man. Because how many times when I first had my encounter with Abba, I heard, I was still in places that wasn't preaching this.
Yeah.
And it was okay because, hey, I learned a lot from them guys too. But, the first one I said, well, that love message, you can't preach that love. It's getting too lovey-dovey around here.
Yeah.
You can't preach that. And then, okay, I got over that because I knew God was love. He had to be love to come after something like I was. But then they said, you can't preach grace, Ron. You can't do that. It's going to give people a license to sin. And I guess I just read through, Romans and Galatians. I guess I just read through that, and I never did really stop, and it didn't highlight to me.
Yeah.
Because I was trusting man, instead of revelation, that I was having.
Yeah.
And, even Paul prayed, Father, give them the spirit of wisdom and revelation and the knowledge of you.
Yeah. And see, when Paul was writing those, let this challenge people. When Paul was writing those, Holy Spirit was the one showing him this.
Yes.
And I believe that he saw Jesus too, and Jesus unveiled himself to him on the road to Damascus. And Paul had no template. He didn't have resources.
He had the law. He had the Torah.
The law.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a New Testament. There wasn't, there was conversations that he had with some disciples, but those were very few and in between. I believe because I know Acts 9 says that immediately within the hour, Paul was preaching in the temple. That is so condensed that it's not true.
To fit on a page.
Yes. That is not the actual narrative that happened, because Paul gives the narrative in Galatians and says what actually happened there. And I believe he withdrew to the Arabian desert from anywhere between 14 to 17 years, being unbraided from the law, braided, untethered from any perspective he has that did not align with the Jesus that came and met him.
But he got what? Alone.
He got alone.
You have to get alone.
Yeah.
Because Paul was so hell-bent against this Messiah guy that's coming on the scene.
Exactly.
Because, they're the ones that killed. That's what killed Jesus.
Yeah, and he was killing people that followed Jesus.
Stephen.
Yeah.
Think about it.
He was the usher into Stephen's martyrdom. And it's just, for me, man, because that's been, my story is like when he met me with this, I preached it one time in 5 years. I preached at one church and I did 3 weddings, 2 big weddings, 1 smaller wedding. But I only preached one time, and it was at the very beginning of my journey when I'm talking about fresh into this. Then we did the healing stuff, and those are beautiful. That's not what I'm saying, but it wasn't very public.
Yeah.
It was very private. And then for 2 years, we do nothing until we come back here. So the last 5 years for me, there's not really been any publicity. I got alone with him, and every day it was just waking up, letting him tend love's flame within me. And Paul said, I had no desire to run back and concur with the disciples about what had happened in me. He withdrew. I really believe that within the revelation of Abba and with beloved identity, there has to be this withdrawal season that we go through to let him begin to unbraid every perspective, untether us from what has church told you here? What is Christianity told you here? What do you think that, what do you think I'm like here? Let me unveil myself to you. Just like the road to Emmaus, the road to a burning place is, did our hearts not burn with holy fire and passion as he unveiled himself to us?
You know what I liked about Paul?
What's that?
Because he went to the 11.
Yeah.
And made sure what he got. Because they'd been with Jesus.
Yeah.
There was ones that stayed.
Yeah.
And, he said he went to, I believe it was Peter.
Yeah.
And made sure the gospel that he was preaching.
Yeah.
Because they was the 11.
Yeah.
The burning ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I think so beautiful about that is I think that in that extended season that Paul withdrew, I think, because it's not, even though that they were the 11 of the 11, they were like, yeah, take this further than what we could. And I really think that Paul took it deeper than even, I think John the Beloved took it the deepest, but I think when he met with Peter was just like, man, I know it's true because I know Jesus. I might not have heard this yet, because Peter, we don't see the kind of language being used by Peter.
We don't.
At all. And you go, and maybe glimpses of
But
it to
Peter
a
could
degree.
see into Paul too.
But Peter could see it in Paul because
Yeah.
Peter had seen Jesus, and Peter might not have went as deep and as far as Paul, but Peter said, "I know Jesus, and now I see Jesus in you. Paul.
Exactly. It's
You
burning.
run with it.
Yeah.
It's burning in you. You run with it, man. I trust it because I know Jesus. I see Jesus in you.
Yeah.
And that let that be just a
I'm glad Paul had the New Testament when he went into the desert.
all right.
I'm just kidding. He did not.
He didn't.
No, he didn't.
And that was as he was alone. He got all these things.
He
man.
did.
And that was Jesus unveiling himself. That became the road to Damascus became Paul's road to a burning place.
And he did not quit. He's still doing that today.
Yeah.
If you'll take your time
Yes.
and you'll get along
Amen.
with him. I know some people's got a busy life. I got a busy life.
Yeah.
But and Cam's got a busy life. He's got 2 kids and, a wife, and he works, but we find time.
Yeah.
We find time and cherish that time.
Yeah.
You got to have it. And it's not Sunday morning at 11 o'clock service with 100 more people or 5,000 more people. Yeah, them times are good.
Right.
They are, but I'm talking about just you and him in a room all alone.
Yeah.
And watch what happens.
Yeah. And that's where, we'll bring it back full circle is like, just that's where you get the burning heart.
Yeah.
And then it moves into there's nowhere that I'm at that I'm not burning internally.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll share this and then we can close it. But every day that I wake up, love is fueling the flame.
Yeah.
In me. That's what love does. Love is
Love
the
wakes
fire.
you up.
Love wakes me up, and love is the fire. Love is never unavailable. Let me put it that way. Love is never unavailable. Love's something, when I speak about the Abba revelation and beloved identity, it's fueled from the fire of love that, man, I remember praying something a few years ago. Don't let me be able to turn you off like a faucet.
Yeah.
I surrender. I don't want to be in control of when I even have an encounter or not. And now I live my life, though. It doesn't mean I have an encounter every second of every day. That's not what I'm saying. But I will, and I can sit here, look you in the face, whoever you are, and tell you there's never a second that goes by where I do not feel love in me.
Yeah.
Not 1 second. It's not something I can turn off.
Even when you mess up,
I still
you
feel
still feel love.
I still feel it.
And that's the biggest thing the hurdle I had to get over.
Yeah.
Was what I've always been taught. Well, you messed up. You need to go to the altar. You need to go beat your head, cry, fast, do all this stuff. But now when you do mess up, it's okay.
Yeah.
Just like when Asher messes up or Emmy messes up or, Savvy or Beckett, my grandkids, they're going to mess up. But guess what? That love never changed. It's still there.
Yeah.
It's still there.
Absolutely.
And we're going to correct them. We're going to get them back on the path that, that as a father and a mother that you would want them on.
Yeah.
And God's no different.
Yeah.
Abba is no different.
No. And let me just say this. Anytime Asher, Emmy's still too little, so she doesn't really count, but anytime Asher messes up, I put him in timeout and stuff. Like I put him in timeout today, and like he could do something that would frustrate me, but there's never a moment where I'm not loving him.
Exactly.
There's never a moment that makes me look at him outside of the lens of love.
Correction is love too.
But here's my
with
thing.
love.
If I view my son that way as a father, how that is sickening compared to the love that he has for us. What's the quote? I can't think of it, man, but there was a guy, I can't remember his name. Damon shared the story. There was a guy that was his son did something, and as he's sitting there, he said, "Your love is evil compared to the love I have for you."
Ooh.
And he was just talking about how much he loves his son, and he said he heard the father say, "Your love is not in a condemning manner."
Yeah.
He's just saying your love
Comparative.
is evil compared to the love I have for my children, and that's how that's what love does, and that's what how love rearranges your heart. That's how love transforms your heart. So if he can renew your mind, if he can renew your sight, we have to understand he can absolutely reform and reshape our heart. He can make our heart absolutely brand new and it can be made whole.
Just think about this. Our religion, I don't want to, I hate using religion, but as a whole, you've got many religions in the
Yeah.
world today. Ours is the only one that we can call Father, I believe.
It
I
is.
believe that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
We have a Abba, a Father, a God, because every one of them's got a God.
Yeah.
But even like the Muslims, they don't think they can call
Yeah.
Yahweh. They won't call him Yahweh anyway, but
The Jews can't
yeah.
call him Yahweh.
Yeah. But they don't think he is they can't call him Father. They don't
Right.
see him as Father. They see him as the ultimate being,
Yeah.
the God that created everything.
Yep.
And he is still that, but
Yeah.
he's also the loving Father.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm.
And what's beautiful about that is like they believe that they couldn't call him Yahweh, yet when Jesus steps on the scene, he doesn't say our Yahweh, he says our Abba.
Mm-hmm.
The very same one you're afraid to even call Yahweh. I'm going to step into your condition, your humanity, and I'm going to tell you from here, this is our Abba.
That's right.
That's scandalous. It was scandalous to that culture.
That's good. It's been a good conversation.
Yeah, man. I want to share one thing that
Yeah.
happened last night, and then we can close. I was going to do something else, but we'll save it. I want to share. Last night, as we were worshiping, that scenario I told you that happened to me. This has happened to me, you know, a few times over the years, many times over the year, and it's just in moments of, not because of certain songs being played or because I'm lifting my hands and I'm doing something. It's just I'm, love's always available.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say worship, I don't just mean lifting hands or singing a song. Everything's worship. The teaching's worship. The singing's worship. The driving down the road is worship.
Your job's worship.
My job,
Everything
is worship. And so last night we're just in this moment, and just a lot of beautiful things. Me and Joe didn't talk, and he's singing about some of the stuff that I was sharing, or that I would go on to share, and it was just beautiful. But in that moment, I'm standing there, and at first I had my hands lifted, and I just felt his love just begin to radiate within me, and to the point of where like my insides internally I felt hot, and there was just this weight that I could, I leaned up against the wall, and I think that's around the time when you had looked at me and nodded at me, and I was like, yeah.
yeah,
And
man.
I'm leaning against the wall, and I just feel just love's fire just burning in me, and my hands get heavy to the point where I can't really lift them, and he's just loving on me, and it's the only thing I could think about was just the burning place of love's fire,
Yeah.
which would be, what I end up talking about. I didn't plan that. It just
That kind of put you on the spot because I thought you nodded, yeah. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, it worked out good.
Yeah. And no, I did nod yes,
Okay.
but the way it was just beautiful how it ended up being set up. And so I'm up there teaching about, Emmaus, the road to a burning place. And Hannah and Dakota said that they saw the flash of light, whatever that
Yeah.
was. We still don't know. Hey, we'll take it as a sign
Yeah,
of
we'll
wonder,
take it.
But I think it was. I began to meditate on that today, and the Father actually, I wasn't even thinking about it, and the Father brought it to my attention. And there at the beginning of this podcast, I had said that their eyes were burning for something their eyes couldn't see yet. And I just think it's just a beautiful picture for where we're going as a family.
Yeah.
And even for people that may watch this and just your heart will burn for something your eyes can't see yet.
That's right.
Your heart knows when it's the deep depths of love. You have a heart meter that will go off. And what I want to say is that while I'm teaching this, I didn't see the light, but I felt it in the corner.
Yeah.
So my heart felt what my eyes didn't see. And I think that that's a prophetic illustration for us as a family, man, that our hearts will begin to burn with holy fire and passion
Yeah,
for stuff that we have not yet seen.
exactly.
And that's what my heart burns for, man.
I like it.
We're on the road to a burning. We
Yeah,
are the burning place.
I like it, man. You know me.
So.
But if you're watching, we thank you so much. And for the ones that's going to watch this, we just tell you, hey, trust in him. And if you ever want a house to come worship in Calhoun, Georgia, we're at House 132, and we'd love to have you. We're a house that I always say we host the presence of God. And my wife kind of corrected me today. She said, Ron, you always say, what does the presence do? What the presence, man, that I believe that we host is the Father's love.
Yeah.
Because wherever his presence is, his burning love is there too.
Yeah.
And it's a place where you can come in, and I want you to be transformed by his burning love.
Yeah.
That's it. I love you so much. And until next time, see you later.
Love y'all.
I don't know. This is a house, not a stage. This is a family gathering faith, where hearts awaken, chains fall down. Love is the language, freedom the sound. We come as sons, we come as daughters, drawn by the fire of the Father. No walls between heaven and earth, his presence speaking, calling us first. This is house talk, where his voice is heard. This is house talk, living from his word. Welcome home.